Summer Solstice Indigenous Festival Virtual Edition. Featuring interactive cooking demos, live and streaming concerts featuring some of Canada's best Indigenous talent, virtual marketplace, online arts and crafts demonstrations, social distancing powwow, and more. Summer Solstice Indigenous Festival Virtual Edition, June 1st to 21st. More at summersolsticefestivals.ca.
Kwe kakina, wababik tagon adishnikas, pikwakanaгаning nadonjaba mangin dodum. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stephanie, and I'm Algonquin from Pikwakanagan. And today we're here with Indigenous Experiences and Summer Solstice Indigenous Arts Festival, and we're welcoming you guys to our educational cultural days and our showcase. We have some exciting songs, dances, and teachings to share with you guys over the next hour. We are going to start with some Métis jigging with Prairie Fire, followed by some Inuit throat singing with Tarnarik. Hopefully I said that right. And we'll finish off with my team from Indigenous Experiences, bringing you guys to traditional teachings of the powwow. So we hope everybody stands up, get your dancing legs ready, because we have Prairie Fire kicking us off today, teaching you guys how to jig.
We are Prairie Fire. My name is Hunter Mackenzie. This is my younger brother, Jacob Mackenzie, and this is Riley Mackenzie. So we're going to be teaching you today basics of Métis jigging. It goes way further than what we're teaching you here today. But just to begin, we're going to start with what's called the Red River Jig. So if you haven't heard of that, it is a dance, and it comes from a guy who was sitting by the Red River, and he had his fiddle, and he was just playing some tunes to the wind, and then the wind carried to him some tunes, and he had never heard this sound before, and he tuned his fiddle so that it sounded the same. Later, he figured out it was the sound of bagpipes, so you might hear sort of bagpipe-ish sounds in this song, but it became what is basically the Métis national anthem, and it has a basic jig, which I'm going to get Riley to show you. So this is not necessarily the beginner Métis jig, which JJ is going to show you. What Riley just did is a bit trickier. So this is what we'll be teaching you today. We'll cover a little bit of the more complicated basic jig, but we'll begin with that, and that's something you should be able to learn within the time of this workshop. So we're going to start just by playing the song for the Red River Jig. So there's a basic part and a change where we get to show off. I will describe the changes later, but for now it's easier to just see what happens with the Red River Jig. So Riley's going to start with that one. Okay, that's good. So what you just saw there, and actually heard, is what I'm going to be focusing on for now. What you heard was the music started sort of differently, and then it changed, which is why we call it a change. So Riley started with the basic jig, the first one she showed you, and then she did a change. So which one did you do? Let's see. So this is what we call a change, which is just a change in our footwork. There are over 100 different changes, and they don't necessarily need to be defined. You can do whatever you want. Basically, it's just a chance for you to show off when that music is different. We're going to do another round of that. JJ's going to do it with the super basic jig and with a different change. So yeah, what you just saw there was the really, really basic jig, which we demonstrated earlier and that you will be learning. But the change also was something that's very simple that you can learn. This is one that I do in performances just because it almost looks complicated, but it's very, very simple. Before we do that, we're going to start with the super basic change that I've been talking about. So both of you guys can come up for this one. So we're going to start with steps. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And let's keep going with that. So 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. So practice that a few times. You guys can keep going with that. And once you sort of feel like you have the hang of it, you can get really fancy in there and add a kick, which Riley has just done for us. So kick, 2, 3, kick, 2, 3, kick, 2, 3, and then you can keep going with that. And you can stop here if you don't feel like, giving your all in a dance. If someone just asks you to dance, you don't really want to, that's what you would do and just be lazy about it. But if you want to show off a little bit more, you can add a little jump in there. So you guys can do that. And you sort of just do it lightly on your toes. It's the same thing, just, add a little hop and make it feel more like a dance, yes. So that is the basic jig, and I'm actually gonna get you guys to each pick a change to demonstrate that you think would be easy to teach. So Riley, which change do you think we'll be doing? Okay, that's awesome, so we'll be learning that one. And JJ, I guess the change you just did for that first one, maybe? Okay. So the first one that Riley did, very simple. It's basically just follow along with what you see. So if you go ahead, it's kick, 1, 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, sorry, we're making this one a little fancier. So this one is 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 1, and then you can just keep doing that. And when you speed it up, we don't expect you to do this today, but when you speed it up, it looks a little fancier. And you add a little bit of a hop and go lighter on your feet. It mostly just comes with practice, so if you really feel like improving, just practice that one. And JJ's step, so this one's super simple. Forward, forward, side, side, forward, forward, side. And he's adding a little hop in here, so when you have your foot forward, just bounce on the foot that's still back. And then if you speed that up, it looks even fancier. So that's it for the changes and for the Red River jig. Yeah, that's a good idea. So we will go ahead with the more complicated basic jig. This is not necessarily, we don't expect you to learn this in just a little bit. We've been dancing since we were born. So we'll go ahead with the trickier basic jig. So Riley's just going to demonstrate it to you so you can see it again. That's perfect. So what I didn't mention before, I know I'm talking in the context of the Red River jig, but the basic jig is seen in all dances. So once you have this down, it's basically filler for more of the prominent parts of a dance, whether it's telling a story or whether it's for showing off. So this is just sort of the background noise of the dance. And this one starts with, so heel, toe, heel, sweep, up, down, and heel, toe, heel, sweep, up, down, and really the best thing is just to practice it. So if you guys want to do it slowly again, just to demonstrate it. That's perfect. Okay, and again, with all of the other changes I've been showing you, you just speed it up and add a little bit of a hop. So heel, toe, heel, sweep, up, down, and you bounce on the foot that's still on the ground. Yeah. It's true, yes. So what Riley said is just to add a hop in between each little step. And so, again, it comes with practice. And that's that. So that's it for the Red River jig. There are many, many more changes. And actually, if you guys just want to demonstrate them, we won't be teaching them. But some fancier changes. Horse trot, this one is called. Yeah, so this is actually a dance move that was made by Métis people to train their horses. It's why it's called the horse trot. And you can actually see it in the RCMP musical ride where the horses will dance, and they'll do that with their feet. So JJ's going to show you another change. This one is around the world. It's heavily inspired from powwow dancing, but it's got another extra hop in there, which sort of incorporates it into Métis jigging. And there's more changes. Like I said, hundreds of changes, and other undocumented changes are ones that people just make up on the spot. So that's that for the Red River jig. So the next dance we'll be doing is the Orange Blossom Special. It is personally my favorite dance to do just because it's so energetic and fun, but it also carries what is really important about Métis jigging, which is telling stories through dance. And so while our culture still does have oral traditions, we tend to tell stories mostly through art. So even my belt has a story that I won't be able to get into today, but the dance has a story as well, which I will be able to talk about today. So this dance is about a train, which is the Orange Blossom Special, that goes through Canada and the United States, and it honors all of our Indigenous family who worked on the railroad and just its construction. And the dance will have different parts of a train. We're going to go ahead and show you the structure of the story. I'll break it down afterwards, but just to begin, there's going to be one round, and this one round that we show you is repeated 3 times, each time getting faster and faster, but we're just doing one for now. So we will go ahead with the Orange Blossom Special. Okay, and that is one round of the Orange Blossom Special, and there was a lot that happened there compared to the past few dances that we've been doing, so I'll go ahead and break down what you saw. So JJ is going to start with what you saw first. So you saw this, which is the wheels on the train, or sorry, the bars on the wheels of the train warming up and just starting. And then we moved into the basic jig, which is, again, like I said, mostly filler, but in this case also demonstrates the train speeding up. And then I started doing this really fancy thing where, let's see it again. So we've actually already gone over this one. This is the 2-2, 2-2, 1-1. So do it a little slower just so we can see what that looks like. And then when he speeds it up, it looks much more impressive. Mostly jigging. Why it's impressive is the speed, which just comes with practice. So those are the different parts of the train. So there are the brakes as well. So Riley is going to show you this part. So when you saw this in the dance, this is the train putting the brakes on. And also, what I forgot to mention was when it was going 2-2-1-1, the train would move up this way. And then sometimes when you're in a little station and the train is stopping, it goes backwards for some reason, or it feels like it's going backwards, and so that was that moving forwards and backwards part as well. I think, again, it's really important that our stories tell dances, and this one specifically. When you're seeing or watching Métis jigging, it's either going to be telling a story or social for making you participate with other people. And with that, I think we're pretty much good to go with all the dances. Thank you very much. So we're going to be talking about our outfits here. So I'm going to get Riley to step forward first because her belt is what I love to talk about. So our mother actually made these for us, and they're gorgeous. Beadwork is another form of storytelling for Métis people. So while our 2 belts don't necessarily tell stories, except for mine a little bit, it's got the flower of prairie smoke, which is what our group is named after, Prairie Fire. But Riley's belt doesn't have quite as much symbolism, it just looks nice. So what beadwork is sometimes used for is actually a map. So you might see like the big flower in the middle might be a lake, and all the paths on the side, the vines might be rivers or also just footpaths as well, and then another flower might be a drop-off location. And so our beadwork can actually tell stories just like our dances do, although sometimes a little more practical. And also it just looks lovely, at least to me. And next, we'll talk about the wraparounds that Riley has on and that we all have on. So the wraparounds, you can dance in moccasins, but we like this just because they are what we would wear if we were out in the bush and out in the wilderness and then we just came home and wanted to have a little dance. So these mocks, or wraparounds rather, they protect your shins if you're out gathering berries, and then there's thorns, and so you don't want them scratching up your legs, and so the wraparounds go up so that you are covered. And so sometimes Métis jiggers you'll see have really poofy skirts. That's just more of a European influence in the dance. And also the blouses might be a little fancier, but because we are in the 21st century, we're just a lot more comfortable wearing this, and it's a lot easier for us to breathe in. So next up we have JJ here. So he's got a nice shirt on just to be really fancy. And his sash was gifted to him from Manitoba. So sashes, you can tell where they're from. The blue and the darker colors are from Manitoba. The redder colors are from Alberta. And then sometimes also Ontario and Quebec are the brighter reds, and the darker red is sometimes from Alberta. So that's it for our outfits. Yeah. Okay, so that's it for Prairie Fire today. Thank you so much for just learning about Métis culture. I love sharing it, and I love when people are willing to engage and learn. Again, I just want to emphasize that we only just scratched the surface here today, but you did learn some basics that might get you, to show off a little bit at a dance party. But again, thank you so much. We have been Prairie Fire.
Wow, that was amazing. And I don't know about you, but we worked up a sweat trying to follow along with those moves. We're gonna get you guys to have a quick sip of water and get your voices ready, because up next, we're gonna do some throat singing with Tarnarik. And stay tuned, because afterwards we have our special guests, Kaylin and Samantha, available to answer any questions.
My name is Samantha Kigutuk Metcalf. I am 16 years old, in grade 10, and I love to throat sing. My dad's family is from Nain, Nunasivut, and my mom's family is from Arctic Bay, Nunavut.
Kanwipisi uvanga Kaylin Nanauk de Grand Prix Ukiyuha Kulitalamatlu. Hello everyone, my name is Kaylin Nanauk de Grand Prix. I am 15 years old, in grade 10, and I love to throat sing. My dad is French Canadian and my mom is Scottish and Inuit, and together we are Tannarik.
Tannarik means two souls.
Throat singing is traditionally done by two women or girls. Whoever laughs or messes up first loses.
We learned throat singing at Ottawa Inuit Children's Center, now known as Inuhatigi, when we were 2 years old.
The reason why we throat sing is because back in residential school times, throat singing was banned, and now we're proud to be bringing back our culture.
We are Inuit and proud. In throat singing, there's a follower and a leader. I am the leader, and Kaylin is the follower. So that means Kaylin makes a sound that I make a split second after me.
The first song that we'll be doing is called The Poor Little Dog. The story behind this song is that a girl had a pack of pups, and everyone told her that the runt of the litter would die through the winter. So she sang this song every night to the pup for strength and encouragement, then it became the leader of the pack. The next song that we'll be doing is called The Love Song. This song is a lullaby for the babies, and it originates from Baker Lake, Nunavut.
The next song that we will be doing is called Iu'a. It is the 3 vowels of our Inuktitut alphabet. I, U, U, A, I, U, U, A, I, U, U, A, I, U, U, The next song that we will be doing is called Competition. In this song, I could do whatever I want to make Kaylin laugh, which usually never works because Kaylin is really good.
The next song that we'll be doing is called Seagull. Seagull is an imitation song, and we are imitating the sounds of seagulls communicating to each other. The next song that we'll be doing is called The Labrador Goose. This song is an imitation song, and it's imitating the sounds of geese communicating to each other.
The last song that we will be doing is called Humma. It is the most basic throat song, and this is the first song that we ever learned. Thank you, Nakumi. I hope you enjoyed.
Thank you, Matna. I hope you all enjoyed.
Hello, Kumipisi Uvanga Kaylin and Dr. Grand Prix. Hello, everyone. My name is Kaylin and Dr. Grand Prix.
Hi everyone, my name is Samantha Kigutak Metcalf, Uvanga Samantha Kigutak Metcalf. So we will be reading questions from the Q&A. So Kaylin, what was it like singing for the Prime Minister, and did you get to talk to him?
Singing for the Prime Minister was amazing. Yes, we got to talk to him for a little bit because he is the Prime Minister. He was really busy, but we got to talk to him for a couple minutes before he had to leave.
So the next question is, how long did you practice? Kaylin and I we've been throat singing since we were 10 professionally, but we've been throat singing since we were 18 months. So Kaylin, the next question is, do all the sounds mean something in Inuktitut? Just sounds or volume?
Some of the sounds mean something. Some of the sounds are actual words in our language, but most of the sounds are just normal sounds that we make with our throat.
So the next question is, does it hurt to throat sing? Is throat singing hard? It doesn't really hurt as long as you've been practicing. Like I said, Kaylin and I have been throat singing since we were 18 months, but if you throat sing for 20 minutes straight, it will hurt. The next question is, what is the largest audience you have performed for?
The largest audience we performed for was back in 2017 at the Calgary Stampede Grandstand Show. We performed for a crowd of 24,000 people.
And how long have we been throat singing together? You want to answer that?
We've been thirteen together since we were really young, but professionally since we were 10 years old.
And we're just waiting for more questions. No questions are up. No, it does not. Okay. Does it hurt to throat sing?
Do you
Kaylee,
want to?
you can answer it.
All right. It does not hurt to throat sing. Well, if you are a beginner, yes, it will. It's like working out. First, you can't do much, but when you work at it, you will get better and you will be able to do stronger weights, which is like doing sounds and throat singing.
Okay, so that was our last question. So next we have Indigenous Experiences, who will be bringing you songs and dances and teachings from the powwow.
For our cultural showcase, we have brought in our team from Indigenous Experiences. They will be showcasing a few different dance styles with you. Our team at Indigenous Experiences pride themselves in presenting, teaching, and educating the public on the many diverse nations we have here in Canada. Our presentations not only entertain and reflect, but more importantly, respect the diverse cultures within our communities. The songs, dances, and stories are the strength of our people and provide the legacy for our future generations. The dances provide a unique insight into the traditional and contemporary lives of Indigenous people. As our spirits are moved by the drum, we dance to what we call the heartbeat of Mother Earth. These dances are typically done at powwows, which are a celebration of music and dance. The outfits that are worn by the dancers are representative of the styles that they are dancing, and we refer to them as regalia. These regalias are reflective of the individual dancer and are made of many sacred items. The first dance we will share with you today is the women's traditional. One of our oldest forms of dance, the women would oftentimes surround the men in protection. Always keeping close to Mother Earth, they give thanks for all that came before them and all that is yet to come. The women within our cultures are highly respected. They are the backbone of the powwow arena, and they are the caretakers of our communities. They are our mothers, grandmothers, aunties, sisters, and our water carriers.
Cassandra Barnaby at Gleawi Gespegawagi, Gisnawigi Onwa. Hi, my name is Cassandra Barnaby, and I originate from the people of the last land, but currently residing on unceded Algonquin territory in Onwa.
Our next dance will be the men's traditional. This dance, one of the oldest, is a storytelling dance. As language was at oftentimes a barrier, the men would express themselves through song and dance. The men would gather after a hunt or battle and share their stories of victories and roles while protecting and providing for the community.
Kweka Kana, Wamatandesi Ndijnikas, Kitigan Zibi Donjaba. Hello everybody, my name is Wamatandesi. I'm from Kitigan Zibi and I'm going to be dancing the men's traditional.
Our next style of dancing comes from the Lake of the Woods area in Northern Ontario. This is one of the more recent styles of dance to emerge, and it is also one of the most respected. Maggie White, a young Anishinaabe woman, was extremely ill. Her family sought help from both traditional and contemporary practices with no success. As her condition became more critical, her grandfather was provided an answer to her healing through a vision. With the instructions given to him, his granddaughter was able to recover fully and went on to live a long, beautiful life. To this day, this method is widely practiced throughout various First Nations communities, and the traditional healing methods are still used to help families and loved ones. Kwe kakana, Sarah de Conti Nadijnakas, Kitigan Zibi Ndonjaba Mikanak Dodam. Hello everyone, my name is Sarah de Conti. I'm Algonquin First Nation from Kitigan Zibi, and I'm part of the Turtle Clan, and it is my honor to be demonstrating to you today the jingle dance. The next dance we are about to share is the men's grass dance. This dance originates from the Plains Nations. Before the people of the prairies would set up their communities, the men would stomp down the tall prairie grasses to ensure the grounds and area are safe for the people, as well as to not build on the home of another. These men were also the firefighters within the community, always staying nearby when a fire was lit to ensure safety by stomping out the fire if necessary. As you will see on their regalias, they have long flowing ribbons and yarn to represent the prairie grass. The grass dance is still used today to bless the grounds and open up our powwow arena.
Kwe kakana, Kane Nadijnakas. I'll be dancing the men's grass dance for you guys today, and this is my regalia.
Typically done by young women, it symbolizes their transformation into womanhood by a cocooning butterfly, the women's fancy shawl. This style of dancing comes from the Oklahoma Territory. This is one of the most recent styles of dance to emerge, and it came from the people during the time of Buffalo Bill's Wild West shows, when all the indigenous practices were outlawed and only done for show. Many of the men's style of dance were fast and upbeat, whereas the women's styles were often stationary or slow. A young woman decided she wanted to dance like the men. She entered the competition and won, taking the championship several times that year. Suddenly, people wanted to know who this new dancer was. When they realized it was a woman, they decided that they needed their own fancy dance.
Hello everyone, my name is Ember Saracen. I'm Algonquin from Pequawknagon First Nation, and I'll be demonstrating the women's old style fancy shawl today.
I do hope you have enjoyed this presentation so far. We would like to acknowledge Northern Cree, the amazing drum group whose songs we danced through today, and we thank them for their many songs that move us all. I would also like to take a quick moment to thank all of our dancers who have come out to share their gift with us. And a big miigwech to you all for joining us. We do hope we get to see each other on site for our summer solstice activities next year. However, I'm not going to leave you just like that. I do have one more dance that I'm going to do for you, the hoop dance. From the 1700s to the 1900s, it was illegal to perform traditional ceremonies, dances, and songs, as the government felt that they interfered with the modernization of Indigenous people. Some songs and dances were lost forever, but because of the bravery of our ancestors, we were able to bring these dances to you today. One of the dances that almost disappeared was the hoop dance. This storytelling dance illustrates elements of nature and traditional life. The original hoops were made from willow. They were bent, tied, and dyed into various colors. Today, although the hoops are made from modern materials and many dancers use contemporary music, the dancers remain true to its form by creating pictures that help us to envision the beauty that is nature. The hoop dance. after this presentation for our online Q&A.
Presentation and cultural showcase so far. Over the last few minutes, I have gotten a few good questions to answer, so I'm going to start. The first question that I did get a couple of times is, how do people learn these traditional dances, and how long does it take to learn them? So a lot of our dancers, or a lot of our people, pick up dancing at any point in their life. They can start as a child inside the mother's womb. They can start as a baby in their walkers or jolly jumpers. And some of them will start even as adults, picking up things that they haven't done since they were a child. So there's no right or wrong time to pick it up. And as for learning these dances, you always start with a basic step, and you kind of, whatever you put into it, you get back. So if you practice lots and try new moves, then you learn your dances a little bit quicker. But other than that, there are natural feelings. So there's no time frame as to how long it'll take or how long it won't take to learn any of these styles. But there are some styles that are a little harder to learn than the others. For example, the hoop dance. I hope that answers your question. So no time frame. Next question I have is, the regalias traditionally purchased or are they made? Now, traditionally, we would make our own regalias because they're reflective of who we are as a person, and they reflect our spirit. So a lot of the colors will reflect what we enjoy, and we will use a lot of motifs based on who we are as people. Traditionally, we would make them ourselves, or our moms or grandmas or aunties would help us with them, or our uncles on our featherworks and roaches. But they can be made nowadays. You can purchase them off of experienced sewers that do this as well. So a lot of the times people will sew for somebody that they know, and it's more of a joint project. It's kind of like because it's something that represents something so personal to you, it really helps putting your own hands into it and your own efforts and energy into it. I hope that answers that question. The patterns and designs on the regalia are beautiful. How long will it take to make? So beading and beadwork obviously takes a lot longer than any of the sewing, but the sewing work takes a lot on its own. Everything from the drawing, the drafting, the design, the actual cutting out of the pieces, any of the ironing, and then all of the stitching that goes around, any of the finishing touches, any fringes or jingles, sparkles or bling, if you will call it, and any of the beadwork that you see our dancers wear, those all take lots of time. Me, as an experienced sewer, I could probably put out a regalia in about 40 hours, give or take, but that's just the sewing part. Like, I can't even count the hours that have gone into a lot of people's beadworks, and everyone has different pieces on them. So the weight does vary based on your design and the amount of stuff that you've put onto it. So the other question I had was, is the outfit heavy? Yes, the outfits can weigh up to 5 pounds, some of them 10 pounds. Depends on how beaded you are, how many layers you have, is your outfit made out of buckskin, and so on and so forth. So everybody's outfit's very different. And some people will make their outfits according to what they're able to carry on them as a person. I have another question here. How long does it take to learn to dance like that? So a lot of us have spent our whole lives learning to dance like this. And it's not that we're learning to dance with it, it's expressing who we are through these dances. So it can take a lifetime. So how many people dance at the powwow together? And what occasions would powwows take place, and how many times a year? So I'm going to do these two together. Powwows happen all over North America, Canada, the United States, and they happen typically, usually, maybe not this year, but every weekend somewhere. Each community will take turns hosting these festivals, or it's not really a festival, they're more of like a gathering where we get to meet our old friends, dance with our friends, move to the music, and there could be anywhere from a couple hundred people to a couple thousand people, and that's just in registered dancers. But powwows vary in size all over North America, so there's really no right or wrong answer to that one either. Where do the feathers come from? That's a good question. A lot of our feathers that we receive them as gifts, and they're kind of like an honor to be given these feathers. It's kind of like being recognized for doing good work within the community, and an elder or somebody that has these feathers recognizes that and sees that in you, you get gifted, and it's very, very, very wonderful feeling. We don't actually go out like hunting feathers, just to clear that up. Would the hoop dancer ever get trapped in the hoops? Yes, it's happened, but that's why we practice. So the more that we work towards our dances, the more that we become better, we become more sure-footed. But yes, in my beginning stages as a hoop dancer, I myself have I've been tangled up in there a time or two. Is there a reason for the differences between the men's and the women's dance styles? Yes, there are lots of reasons. We put together like a little intro of all the different dance styles before they were showcased. So there was kind of like a little overview as to which dances would be done by the women and which would be done by the men and why they would be done. I don't know if you guys want to double check and rewind that, but a quick overview. Men had their dances and different roles and duties to do it, whereas women were more of on the side, and only women's dances only came later, later in time, if you will. But the men's dances were predominantly useful. There was sharing stories because we didn't have very many we didn't all speak one language, so a lot of our communication was done through stories and through movement. And it would be typically the men that would share these stories while the women protected them from the outside. Which is the hardest dance to learn? Well, like I mentioned earlier, the hoop dance is a little bit more challenging to learn than the others. But any of the basic styles, they do flow naturally to you, but my personal was learning the hoop dance, because you got to dance, you got to move things, you got to put things on, got to always be a couple of steps ahead, and you got to keep time. How do you feel about non-Indigenous people learning these dance styles? Is there any special protocol that needs to be respected? That is a great question. So typically when you go to a powwow, we invite all nations to come and join us. And we have special songs throughout the day that are called intertribals. And during these intertribals, that means everybody can join in on us. So if you're ever at a powwow, you ever feel like joining us and dancing it, those intertribals are there. They're open. Come join us. Come learn a step. Say hi to the smiling faces in the circle, and definitely pop in and take a peek at the drums. They are amazing. And do you have to be Indigenous to go to the festival? You do not have to be Indigenous to go to the festival. It is open to everybody, and that is why we are doing this, that we can share our education with you guys and a little bit about who we are and what we do. I do believe time's up. Those are lots of amazing questions. If anybody else has any other questions in regards to any of the Métis jigging that we saw by Prairie Fire, or any of the throat singings, or any of this last of our cultural showcase, feel free to message Leanne. She will be happy to bring these up to us. So info@ottawasummersolstice.ca. Take care.
Summer Solstice Indigenous Festival Virtual Edition, featuring interactive cooking demos, live and streaming concerts featuring some of Canada's best Indigenous talent, virtual marketplace, online arts and crafts demonstrations, social distancing powwow, and more. Summer Solstice Indigenous Festival Virtual Edition, June 1st to 21st. More at summersolsticefestivals.ca.